right-hand side yet again. Yes, he's trying to pressure out the solo lane. We saw him do it in game 1 and a little bit in game 2. His goal is to kind of just pressure out Snowflake. Terra.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Brian Codex out here soloing Alfredo, the support, taking down the ADC. That's gotta be a clip that we throw somewhere, man. That was absolutely bonkers. Alfredo not feel the global ult, but she's here despite that. And we might see Apollo able to come as well. The final basic as Kairos tries to finish it off with the dash, but Fuzzy Clay did this, but regardless, it will be a Primal Fury going the way of Fuzzy and the Wuzzies, and now over 10,000 gold up before 20 minutes into the game, and it wants to be even more. Warden trying to chase out Kairos. It will be some peel, but Fuzzy joining in on the ultimate, gonna force out the ultimate from Kairos as well, and he might just get away, but it forces dash into a rough spot. Raijin dashes as well, trying to get damage from the Taiko drums, who gets taken out before he can get more than one shot off, but Alfredo finding himself a double kill, looking for the triple. Fafnir low, triple kill coming out from Alfredo. He's going to look for the Quadra, getting low here, trying to find it onto the Artemis, but Double Mumble doing a great job of zoning him out and gets the dash to finish off the kill. Soul still alive, wants to put more damage into this Sobek, and he might be able to finish it off, and he does. 4 members fall from Going Ghost, only 3 members on the side of Fuzzy and the Wuzzies, and I gotta say,
That's all of their ults? Yeah.
Oh.
Huge! Oh my god!
Huge.
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
bro.
go! My goodness.
Room. Do you knock up?
I have it in 1.
Damn. If we were all right, we could do gold. I just killed Matt too.
Kill the Bacchus.
Bacchus, easier kill.
Coming over. Nice job.
He jumped?
Yeah,
Nope.
he jumped around me.
Yeah, we don't have anyone else coming. He's gone. We can leave and go.
Good shit.
Oh, just supports carrying games.
All me, baby, all me! You really thought you could contain this amount of God-given talent? It's already too late to run, just give me the penta! You can thank me later? Nah, you can thank me now. Somebody's gonna end up calling the police if this cyberbullying.
And I think that'll be it for the team fight. They're gonna try and back away and get away with their lives here after all said and done.
That was a very tentatively played fight, but it's not over yet!
What are you doing there? What are you doing there, Rack Attack?
I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking the exact same thing. It's object permanence. Hey.
That kill, but now it's the Gold Fury started up again.
It's being pulled, it's being leashed. Rack
well.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes a character with 6 abilities is just good no matter what.
Okay, so just got word that might not have heard anything we had said for a little bit there. So we're just talking about how we're going to do the quarterfinals in the challengers division here. The fourth seed is 3DOS versus Mafia Vice is the fifth seeded team. And these two teams have faced off before, but we were just discussing maybe with the different patches between third week and now that things might be a little different on the picks and bans phase. But as Drummer has indicated, some of these are pretty understandable, including the RDO ban, the Geb ban, and the Odin ban. Umoja being hovered and locked in on the side of 3DOS or 3DOS. What do you think about the Umoja pick here?
I'm a fan. I think Emoji's a pretty good character. She has a lot of utility, but unfortunately, she has a little bit of Ymir syndrome in that her like whirlpool or whatever. Sometimes they can be really good, and other times have some unintended consequences. So it really is going to come down to team communication and just like the reaction time of that player, whether they can get the push or pull down right. But I'm excited to see an Wheelix pick though. She's probably my favorite assassin.
Quickly locked in there on the Willix there for Mafia Vice with Chiron being hovered. A Willix being first ban. What are your thoughts, or first pick here? What are your thoughts on a Willix being first pick?
I mean, I really like I said personally. I'm very biased. Wheelix is probably my favorite assassin to play in this game. Chiron, if they end up locking the Chiron, his dash does not does do a slight knockup when he hits people. So that's a pretty good one, a pretty good utility with that. I believe Yamoja's whirlpools also count as a knockup when you go through them, so you might be able to get some sneaky pulls off of that. So we'll see how this pans out. I'm liking the Cthulhu hover. Morgan, I don't know. That's a confident Morgan player at this point in the game. So I don't know, other than Cthulhu, I don't know who your target's going to necessarily be to turn into.
I mean, we've seen it multiple times in the SPL, the Morgan and the Cthulhu combo. It's just, I mean, why one Cthulhu when you can have two?
Sure.
And I believe 3DOS agrees because they are locking that in. And Bacchus being locked in on the side of Mafia Vice. So there you go. You got another knock up there with the Willix there.
I'm excited. I'm hoping to see some big things from this Wheelix if you have this many knockups in the game. Looks like they banned Janice, Cupid, and Tsukiyomi. Okay, those are the Cupid. I'm not sure. I personally haven't seen a lot of Cupid at all. So I don't know. Maybe that is like a player-specific ban, or they just really don't want to play against the Cupid. I don't know.
Cupid, giant AoE ultimate that has the cripple and, of course, the stun as well. Maybe they're not really too interested in having that being up against them. And Morgan Le Fay also banned on the side of 3DOS as Nike is being picked on the side of Mafia Vice. Hey, another knockup.
Another character no knockups. There's a lot riding on this Wheelix already, so hopefully
No pressure. No
yeah,
pressure.
no pressure for that Wheelix, but the whole team is counting on you there.
And the Rama and Daji being hovered on the side of 3DOS.
Let's see. No, characters don't have jumps, but still both good characters. Really big fan of Rama as well. They're very classic auto attack based hunter, so hopefully we'll see that. It might see that traditional auto attack build coming out of him, so I think he benefits a lot from it.
And they just went ahead and locked those in. So a couple of other possible targets for the Morgan to also transfer into, correct?
Oh,
With the
sure.
Rama sniping or the Daji pulls. I mean, you could do some pretty fun stuff with that Morgan pick. As Raijin is being hovered on the side of Mafia Vice, we've seen Raijin just kind of going through a lot of nerfs and buffs throughout this season. I'm kind of personally shocked that it took this long for us to see either a pick or a ban on Raijin. But here he is, locked in at number 5 on Mafia Vice. What are your thoughts here?
You're right. I think as the absolute last character picked for the draft. I mean, yeah, it's surprising to me just because he is such a high priority usually.
Yeah.
But a really good character nonetheless. I think he's probably of the two, I would say probably the stronger mid laner just because his laning and team fighting I think is going to be a little bit better than Morgan, whereas Morgan's kind of dependent on who she turns into in her ultimate to like make the big impacts.
Well, you mentioned it at the very top here. Willix is kind of like your favorite. So are you cheering for the side of Mafia Vice here with this team comp, or are
I
you?
have to. They're really all in on the knockups, and I need to see some. I'll be very disappointed if this Wheelix doesn't just run away with this game.
Well, we don't have to wait too much longer. We're gonna go ahead and send it on over to Voiceless and Akira to bring us game number 1, quarterfinals, 3DOS versus Mafia Vice.
Thank you very much, Nevea and Drummer. This is the Voiceless one. I'm joined by my good buddy Akira. We're here to cast the quarterfinals here for the Albion Giants League Challengers Division. This is 3DOS versus Mafia Vice. You excited for this one, Akira?
Definitely.
I am hyped.
Yeah, playoffs is in anything is playoffs are cool, and yeah, I vaguely recall this matchup earlier, and I don't remember exactly how it went down. Do you?
I don't remember, to be perfectly honest.
3DOS won last time.
Okay, so that's more information than I had going in. So we'll have to see if they can repeat that here, or if Mafia Vice. I mean, they've really gone all in on they've drafted to support this Wheelish pick. We'll have to see if that ends up playing out well for them or not.
I mean, I hate to disappoint Drummer, but I don't see how Mafia Vice can win this game unless there's like a serious execution diff. Like, this comp is absolutely brutal out of 3DOS. You have the Cthulhu, you have Daji, you have Yamoja, and you have Rama. Morgan has so many good options here to turn into.
That's true. I hadn't even considered the ultimate when I was looking at the Morgan. I was just thinking about like burst damage.
Whoa!
And holy cow! Early kill. 1 minute and 10-second kill over in the duo lane. Very aggressive. Mafia Vice getting the first blood they were looking for.
Oh, all right.
There's no way this Wheelish could carry the team.
Well, I mean, maybe we do get the execution diff, but there's I don't know exactly what happened over in the over in duo lane, but that was a good play out of Dummy Slick saving the jump to get out after the fight. Though I do see, like, basically, it's interesting, Mafia Vice basically, like, a lack of respect on these relics, right? Only 2 beads picked up with not that much CC immunity on their team. They do have the cleanse coming out of the Chiron, but Chiron's not going to be anywhere. So Moose on this Dodgy should be putting up a good performance, that early death notwithstanding.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as the game goes on whether that role reverses at all. Daji does have, incredible team fight impact if beads are down. She can be a beads burner and then like that's it. But if you use something like maybe the stun on maybe the Morrigan or maybe the Cthulhu, something like that to burn the beads in the first place, getting grabbed and pulled in by the Daji during the middle of a team fight is just obscene. It just ruins your whole day, man.
It's just death.
It is death.
But I mean, we'll have to see how the execution works out here. So far, Mafia Vice have definitely been commanding this game, and 1,000 gold lead 3 minutes in. Brutal out of Mafia Vice. 800.
Not something small to be dealing with here. Very well. I think that lack of respect you mentioned just kind of showing up for them early game. I don't think 3DOS expected them to get that aggressive so early, and I think it played into Mafia Vice's hands completely there. They're like, they're not expecting it. We'll just go in hard, we'll get a kill, then we'll back off, and it worked.
And Dummy Slick already has the ult here, but it doesn't look like there's that much potential for a kill necessarily. Let's move back into the duo lane. Yeah, I'm seeing pretty standard builds coming out here. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
No spear for our hunters. They've gone back to the cowl.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that, but based on these, actually, it's kind of extremely surprising how the Chiron as a fight starts over here around the red buff.
Uh-oh, yoinked back in with that ult, but there we go. There's the tower that keeps her safe. Yanking a couple people. They may have beads, may get pulled back in. One will get pulled back in, but there's no teammates around to provide any sort of follow-up, so Moose goes down in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, and this follow-up onto Brother Man.
They're going to get him too. Wow, I thought for sure he was Yamoja. He'll surely be able to get out, but no, stun after stun after stun, and they lose another one. 4 kills to none so far. Mafia Vice walking away. Are you kidding me? And a solo kill over on the side. That one in the other direction. 3Dunk getting the solo in the lane against the Nike, bringing things back to a 4-1. But this game already a bloodbath.
Welcome to the AGL Arena playoff quarterfinals between 3DOS and Mafia Vice. Brutal game coming out of here. But I think that's what Mafia Vice has to do. I think they are well served by playing this pressure early, playing fast and hard, and not giving 3DOS the chance to get into these huge, big 5-man death balls.
Yeah, I definitely feel like their weakest point is, when we're late game, and we're trying to do team fights here. That's a bit of a scary situation. Awelish really likes to catch people kind of one-off in a little bit out of position, a little bit of skirmish jungle. She's a little too fragile to stay in the fray for too long during an extended team fight. So their best bet, I agree with you, is to kind of find somebody out of position, get a pick, and turn that into something more.
At the same time, you're right. I do think, not to contradict myself, I definitely think the 3DOS has the advantage in the 5v5 situation. Oh, no, Dummy Slick's going to get out there. Not content.
Being used once again, trying to get a little bit more. Dodges 2 shots, going to guess away. Nope. Dummy Slick too quick to get pulled in by that one. Ult burned, not a lot gained for it.
I'm not sure about that. I think that's a little bit of a desperation play out of the jungler for 3DOS.
I feel like maybe you're down a couple kills. Wow, going in very deep now, looking for additional kills. Really doesn't want to let Dummy Slick get away here. Maybe just feeling down 3 kills, you need to make something happen, kind of feeling some pressure to put something on the board for your team before it turns into something insurmountable, maybe.
Well, the other thing is that if you keep Dummy Slick on the Awelish in mid, that means Dummy Slick isn't farming camps, which means that Moose isn't falling further behind. But at the same time, if Moose is also stuck in mid, then Moose also isn't farming camps. It's a bit of a wash. But the lead has extended, as we see there, to 1,500 gold for Mafia Vice, and a similar amount in experience. So they do still have a pretty good lead here, as they do drop Gorp, which again I think is another way to is another good play out of them. I think accelerating the pace of this game is what Mafia Vice wants to do.
Rada Tahuti highlighted by our observer there over on Peaceful Mind. That's going to make him slap in these team fights. It's going to chunk people down before you know it. Oh, look, Rebuke coming in here. Look at the start of the fight coming in. Good stun. The follow-up is there to Peel from Killjoy. He's going to put down that circle. Anybody from chasing his Bacchus too deeply into the jungle, and that will make sure everybody gets away safely for the time being. 3DOS, they're not happy with that. They want more. The Belch comes out, and once again, we see that's our 3rd ult so far out of this Dodgy so far in this game. Gonna grab one with this Bacchus. I don't know if he'll be in too much danger. There is a follow-up stun, but he won't get too much damage following that. Now the Bacchus goes deep. Cthulhu transforming, looking to lay down tons of damage. Which of these Guardians is going to go down first? They're both so low. It's actually the Morrigan, followed by the Dodgy. Both of them going to die very quickly here. And that was the Morrigan that was playing the Cthulhu. My apologies. Oh, with the snipe there from Rama downtown. Boom shakalaka. He gets what he's looking for. Will he lose his life for it? Yes. And Dummy Slick coming away with more kills. Both the mid laner and the jungler now combining for 7 kills on Mafia Vice there. They're starting to run away with this. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, unfortunate. I feel like the Punk Duck voice pack in Smite, just unfortunate. I'm feeling that so hard. No!
Oh, no! Oh, good lord. Oh, no!
Gold Fury almost gets a triple kill. No! Double kill to the Gold Fury, plus an assist to the Morrigan on 3DOS. That hurts so bad for Mafia Vice.
That is an inexcusable misplay. Oh, man. The wind isn't quite taking out of Mafia Vice's sails, but it definitely pulled the game much back more into it, like a more even situation. I mean, that was a pretty unfortunate positioning by Linan after he gets that snipe. But getting 2 killed on the Gold Fury and getting a kill onto the Morrigan to boot for 3, that's big on fort for the Mafia Vice.
That hurts so bad. This might be my favorite Smite game of all time right now. we're not gonna dwell on that for too much longer, because mid game coming up, approaching 10 minutes, and you can see a lot of attention being sort of started to put over on the left side of the map, as we generally see right now. Mafia Vice tried to take that Gold Fury already. Didn't go so well. But they are planning more wards over there, making that an area of contention where they'd like to focus their efforts. And I like that play from them. You're ahead. You want to You know, it's the old StarCraft 2 adage: when you're ahead, get more ahead. Don't
Mhm.
let 3DOS come back. So take that Gold Fury for yourself, and catapult your lead, and try and turn that into something more as the game goes on.
Yeah, it's day 9. He guides us all in esports. Interesting to see the Rama going for Ikaval. That sort of bow build has fallen out of favor recently, especially with the nerfs to that item. Whereas Killjoy on the Chiron is going for a more ability-based balanced build, which is a little more common these days with the buffs to the assassin items. Dummy Slick here for a gank, but is spotted out. But yeah, so the other thing, we did see the Bolts run this Cthulhu, or what was, oh wait, hold on, there's a fight starting up here in duo before we, they do pull the gold for you. But yeah, so what I was saying was the Bolts ran the Cthulhu sort of comp, but they mostly had Venenu on the Morgan turn into Nike. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in these big team fights, which character Capsy will opt for.
They've taken a long time to burn down this Gold Fury, and now 3DOS are here looking to contest it. They actually pull off of it. Gold Fury going to reset. A kill goes over to Moose immediately, looking for more as the Raijin is on full retreat. Bacchus dives in, getting a knock up, but he won't be able to get much more than that. It's Moose going down, but finally getting, with the tick damage, what he was looking for on the Raijin. Killjoy now extremely low, pops the ult to try and keep himself alive. It will not work. Brotherman picking up the final blow there. Now having to retreat is Cap ZZ. It's the Morgan. I'm not going to say that. Morgan retreating, trying to use stealth to get himself away now. It's just the Bacchus remaining in the immediate area. Wheelish has actually respawned. This fight's been going on for that long, and the Nike and Cthulhu never left solo lane. He's hunting for that kill. Look at how bloodthirsty he is. He sees it. The leap is coming off cooldown any second now. Misses the leap. The belch is good. Not going to get the stun off. I think that will mean this Morgan. Oh, the blink from the Wheelish. She's here. No, the chase goes on for so long that the Morgan finally dies at the hands of the Wheelish. Dummy Slick picking up his 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, the Capsy ending up on a ward over there is a bit unfortunate. The fight continuing over here, as well as a kill over in solo lane. What's happening?
It doesn't end. There's people dying all over the map. They're everywhere. This Bacchus was not long for this world either. There's another one. And
Okay.
Wow.
Someone has to get a kill and not immediately overextend, right? That has to happen once in this game.
Eventually, someone will get a kill, and they'll be the last person alive. There will be 9 people dead, and then the
And then
fighting
they'll just,
will stop.
and presumably they'll walk into the Gold Fury at that point or something, right?
Yep. Wow, another ult coming out here.
Lens is
Moose
down.
having to
Oh, but the
use
beads
that
are good.
2 times, not going. Yeah, bees having to use, but I think they get the kill anyway. He's very low health. Dashes the wrong direction, trying just to get a knockup.
No!
He gets Moose.
It's the revive!
Wow, to keep him alive with the revive. The stun of the circle is good, and the kill. Holy cow! The 1v2 Killjoy comes away with
Is
it.
he retreating after getting a double kill? No. Run for the tower, dude. The other tower. Just run it down.
You can solo the Gold Fury right now. That's how this
Just
works.
go.
right?
Just do it. Do it. No, but that is excellent discipline and an excellent play out of Killjoy. Taking full advantage of the Chiron ult. That's huge. But the game has completely evened up. Mafia Vice opened up with a blistering pace, opening up like what was it, 1,500 or more even lead, and now cut down to 400. Experience basically even. This game is completely balanced, as all things should be.
Absolutely anyone's game at this point. We are even playing field. As especially if you look at the experience, it is even, but you'll see different players for different sides taking leads in different areas. The solo lane, you see the Cthulhu with a 2-level lead. That's big. But over in the duo, that Chiron is smoking the Rom opposite him. So it just, powers in different places at this point. It's going to rely on people who have the lead to pop off during these team fights in order to help maintain some of these guys that might be lagging just a little bit.
There is one big issue with Mafia Vice's build path and comp here, though. They don't have a great way of killing Cthulhu. Unless they go, fight starting up to mid.
Ooh, River's Rebuke going to be used almost as a peel tool here more than anything else. Brotherman very low. The stun is good. Teammates are here to help. Actually forcing that Raijin to look away for quite some time. Now the Bacchus now going to get pulled in. Snapped up once by those chains. The other one is beads away. Bacchus taken down a lot of health. The dive is there. And the kill should be there any second now. The snipe. There we go. From Rom, going to finally pick up what he was looking for. Lots of low health members on the side of Mafia Vice, but 3DOS aren't looking too healthy themselves either. The chase is good for Moose. Jump backwards from Dummy Slick won't be enough. That's Dummy Slick on the Wheelish falling, followed by Peaceful Mind on the Raijin. The Cthulhu ult is good. Now here in mid lane, lots of low health members being collapsed on by 3DOS. One falls down. Lineant on the Rom going to fall first. Brotherman trying to stay in the area, maybe gets a stun off to confirm more kills, but he doesn't want to overextend and get himself killed. I think just let it go. Just 3DOS, let it go. You've gotten what you can for now. rotate over. You have enough players at high enough health, you can take Gold Fury. You need to be content with that for now.
And I think 3DOS for the first time actually has a slight gold lead, though Mafia Vice is coming in. And actually, at that fight, as that fight was starting up, Mafia Vice was positioned as a trap there. They were hoping to lure 3DOS in, and they got a little bit more than they bargained for.
Mafia Vice gets the steal. No way!
With what?
The Chiron circle. Whatever. I don't even know what the ability's called, but the circle.
Chiron circle got it. Good lord, that's brutal. Killjoy's feeling good. And also on a side note, I think I've been calling that player training exercise.
Thank you, Observer.
Was not just training today.
I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. The Chiron 1 is what I've been calling it my whole Smite career.
Wow.
That eventually does pick up the steal for Mafia Vice. That's incredible.
Oh no.
And they'll get a kill to boot. Linian going down once again. Poor man is 2-5-3. He's absolutely getting bullied over in this duo lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely been calling that player Lineup this whole time. Linian, that makes Linian makes more sense, I think. But yeah, I mean, this game is chaos.
Dude, we're a mess. We don't know the name of Chiron's abilities. We don't know how to pronounce the players' names. This is a joke.
This is crazy. But I'm loving it. This is a great back and forth. Like, I mean, there's beauty in the chaos, right?
Absolutely. I'm having a blast right now. Mafia Vice, after that steal and the kill, they're up by quite a decent chunk.
They're up again, but I mean, dominance coming out of the Chiron, that's a significant amount of pen. But Chiron, I kind of prefers a more ability-based build, but I think the Killjoy is going to have to go into chin size. Someone has to go into serious percent health. Otherwise, CapZ and Freedunk can dive together in that double descent into madness.
Which is always just feels so oppressive. It doesn't matter that, it may not always do the most damage in the world. Just having all of that zoning and the I don't know, it's just the peel potential, I guess, coming out from having Cthulhu 2, as you like to call it, is too much. It can make these team fights feel overwhelming, especially for squishy dive type characters like Dummy Slick on this Wheelish.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. I think I stole that one from JMac. But yeah, I mean, even Cthulhu is one of those characters that just puts garbage on your screen, right? It's kind of like Persephone puts garbage on your minimap. Cthulhu puts garbage on your screen, and it's just difficult to play against with one. And doubling that effect, splitting up a team fight can just be, as you said, oppressive is the word.
Over here in the solo lane, we see the classic slap box happening out. So far, Cthulhu has been large and in charge over here in the solo lane, but Dummy Slick here, he's like slowly backing up. There's like this standoff. Looks like a Western there. They're both just kind of staring at each other, waiting for somebody to draw first. But Cthulhu will make it out alive.
3,000 gold lead here for Mafia Vice. I think that's the biggest we've seen this game. But yeah, I think Freedunk is pretty confident in the Cthulhu's ability to take that 2v1 if necessary. And the kill potential there was not very high, so I think they did get the blue buff steal, but at this point in the game, that's not that big either.
Bulwark of Hope, yeah, we just both saw it at the same time as our observer points that out there. That's an interesting pick. Not something you see on your normal Cthulhu.
Yeah, I mean, Cthulhu doesn't die, and if you really want to make him not die, then add Bulwark of Hope. The important thing for CapZ here, and interestingly, CapZ has been opting for that Raijin transformation most of the time, as far as I can remember. But the important thing is not to get too damaged before ulting into Nike or Cthulhu or whatever frontliner that CapZ should be ulting into late in the game, because then otherwise they'll come in with diminished health, and you really need that full health to make those frontliners work, obviously. So we'll see if CapZ is able to position properly in these team fights.
Absolutely. Positioning going to be key. Also got to make sure, that positioning after the ult, we did see CapZ turn into Cthulhu once during a team fight, but died in the middle of it. So, it can be tempting to be like, well, I'm a tank now. But you can't always get too carried away with being aggressive. You can get yourself killed still in that alternate transformation form, and that's still a death. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be very important for CapZ.
And I think that was an example of actually, if I recall correctly, CapZ ended up transforming at about a third health to begin with. So that was pretty much an example of what I was saying, yeah.
Yeah. Pyromancer. Oh! The steals are good for both teams. I was about to say it went to Mafia Vice, but both teams have the steal in them. Redos picks up the Pyromancer, not as impactful as stealing the Gold Fury, but they'll take it, especially with all of the chase and damage they're getting to throw down onto Mafia Vice on the way out. And as we're approaching kind of this 20-minute mark, we generally tend to see this is Fire Giant teamfight territory. Not the time when you want to be losing somebody, especially your big heavy tank like a Cthulhu. Free Dunk goes down in the jungle, and that will make Fire Giant a long shot here for 3DOS, especially as they have to wait 45 seconds for him to get back. He's quite high level, but that means, respawn timer's long.
Interesting call there out of 3DOS going for the T1 tower instead of backing up the Cthulhu, who was effectively going 1v4 or 5 there successfully. I think a rotation from 3DOS could have resulted in a big win for them. But they do get the Primal Fury off the back of it, so not a total loss, and a lot of ultimates expended, so Mafia Vice not really in a position to take the Fire Giant either. So, they may get away with it. Not the call I think that should have been made.
Yeah, potentially more value could have been gained there for 3DOS, but not the end of the world, as I think you're right. With ultimates down, players probably haven't backed in a while to spend their gold, that sort of thing. Not really the type of time when you generally see teams pull Fire Giant like that, especially as delay has been long enough. Free Dunk's back on the field now.
Mm-hmm. There looks to be a mantle coming out of the Nike, which makes sense. You start whittling down the Nike, and then you get stunned. On top of the slow out of Sentinel Zeus, Chin Size coming out for Killjoy. So it looks like Chiron's responsibility will be to kill Free Dunk during these team fights. We'll see if Killjoy is able to get that damage onto Free Dunk freely, because Moose has been doing a reasonable job of diving onto these carries as the dodgy.
Free Dunk also not having the most defense.
Was that the ult?
It was. Was that a Fat Finger ult?
Must have been. I mean, there was nothing there. That must have been a misclick. Unfortunate, but it doesn't look like there's... Well, hold on. There's a team fight brewing right now.
Going very deep. Avery Wild trying to find something on the backside, but he's very alone here. Lots of players starting to rotate over. Both teams now here in full force. Free Dunk getting a big stun off onto a group of Mafia Vice players, going to force them to back up. Now teams reset, set up for the 5v5, but this is your Fire Giant dance. This is what we expect to see until a team fight breaks out and somebody dies. This is where the majority of our attention and theirs will be.
Definitely. It looks like a pause coming through here.
We got a DC from
Dr. Bojo.
He's just so mad. He's so mad that he fat fingered his ult that he just left the game.
You rage quit.
He rage quit.
We can take a second here to look at the builds coming out of the different players, and no huge level disparities, except Killjoy having a 2-level lead is the biggest in the game right now. Serrated Edge coming through for Dummy Slick, giving him percent penetration, as well as a little bit of lifesteal off the back of it. And it looks to be a Heart Seeker coming out for Moose on the Dodgy, so there will be percent penetration on the other side as well.
What I was going to say a little bit earlier before the incredible ult we saw was that Cthulhu hasn't built into too many prod. He has a lot of health items. So that crit build from the Awilish can get quite a bit of value here. If the crits land, that's always a big if. But if you do get the crits land, there's no spectral armor. So that can be a good avenue for burning down the Cthulhu as well.
Could be. It doesn't look like Dummy Slick has opted for that route. I mean, you could jam a Wind Demon in here and hope for a Hydra's crit. I mean, that's not a terrible idea. But we'll have to see where what that last item ends up being. Not a lot of percent pen for Cap Z, so I wonder if the intention here is effectively for Cap Z to stealth in, blow up a squishy, turn it into Cthulhu or Nike, and split up this team fight. We'll have to see. Since I believe Soul Reaver no longer has the percent penetration, right? It's just the health damage. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So yeah, no real percent pen. Probably not looking to engage with the tanks, and if he does, probably not getting the full value out of his kit there. Not what he'd like to be doing for sure. So I think that's probably his game plan. The stealth does kind of facilitate that very well, and you can see by our observer, Boomba Spear picked up here for our Awilish. Very soon, Dodgy should be getting that as well, but hasn't quite hit 20. So maybe an area power spike for Mafia Vice that might be able to do something with around this Fire Giant as the dance continues. About 3 minutes into it now, still no big team fight happening. Put the yank in, that's how it's going to start. Free Dunk gets yanked back behind the wall. He's going to have to dash away. Sentinel of Zeus is good, hits the slow, but now the River's Rebuke comes out, going to guarantee a stun on at least this Nike. The transformation into Descent into Madness comes through for this Cthulhu, and that's going to push everybody back. You can see how terrifying it is for the backline of Mafia Vice. The members of 3DOS all going deep now, and they're looking much healthier than their red team counterparts. So much damage being poured onto Mafia Vice. They're having to retreat underneath their own Phoenix with tier 2 towers still up. Nike dies first, and I think that's a sacrifice he's willing to make to get the rest of his team out safely. They make it back underneath the Phoenixes, only lose one, but you can see 3DOS just ran that team fight, despite being the ones that got ambushed. And I think that's the second time we've seen 3DOS get hit first and be the ones that run the fight.
I mean, Freedunk just doesn't care. You surround him with 3, 4, 5 members of the other team. Freedunk just walks in and keeps fighting. And that time 3DOS becomes 5DOS, right? And then you see the power of that double Cthulhu alongside the Emoji, alongside the Rama Snipes coming down, alongside the Paola from the Daji, splitting up the fight and just denying Mafia Vice the ability to strike back at all. Mafia Vice may have let this game go on too long.
Yeah, at this point, the camp, just the passive generation of gold, the camps you pick up, the experience, the experience in Gold League that they had at one point really kind of negated. It's at such a point now where not the goal difference pretty much negligible. The XP difference, everybody's starting to hit 20, so that's starting to mean less and less as well. And now Dummy Slick getting himself caught out, uses the beads, but that will be those beads burned for the immediate time. Moose going in for the kill, not going to get it. In fact, going to get nothing but a grave. Moose headed back to the fountain the hard way, and now it's a 4 versus 5. Mafia Vice finally getting a fight that they were looking for with the man advantage here.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they want this fight. If Freedunk has his ult and Capsy has his ult, then I don't see how Mafia Vice wins the fight. And Capsy's ult is coming up shortly.
You can see, look at that. Poor Peaceful Mind has just been just like, you don't get to play this game right now. I'm going to pop my ult, and you have to walk all the way back to your fountain. I'm not even going to kill you. You have to walk there because you just get incredibly forced back over and over again by that Cthulhu in your face. Now, that said, the frontliners from Mafia Vice are the ones that make it happen right here. With some useful peel, Peaceful Mind will fall, but they'll get 4 kills in exchange over onto 3DOS. So that fight definitely goes the way of Mafia Vice, got what they were looking for. But you could see a great example of just how the Cthulhu ulting and just Wing towards you just kind of removes you from the fight if you're that Raijin.
3DOS just needs a little bit more discipline in these fights. If they back up a little bit there, wait for Capsy's ult to come up, instead of going right in and chasing, take Moose as a write-off there, right? Daji went in, got killed. Okay, well, you got Dummy Slick speeds. We can live with that. If they wait a little bit longer and then re-engage, I think they might have more success there. But you see the power of Freedunk, even in that losing fight, zoned out 2 carries. But Fire Giant will go the way of Mafia Vice.
Pop in the Frenzy to make sure they get it before anybody gets close. And with a team fight that good, it would be strange if Mafia Vice didn't go for the FG at that point. So they'll get it. They have a decent amount of infrastructure still here on the board. They can strip away, get that extra gold in their pockets. I expect to see them do just that. Looks like their plan is to rotate, probably push up left. Oh, actually, no, they're going to take the Oni Fury, use those Oni waves. I like that. Smart play. Take all neutral objectives off the map. Don't give 3DOS any way that you can really come back and do anything useful here on the map. And then use those Oni waves to take down all the structures and put yourself even further ahead. Look at the player damage for Cthulhu.
Good lord. Good lord. Just brutal. And I like this play out of Moose. Just push that wave up as far as it'll go. If the wave is pushed up far enough, the Oni waves aren't going to be able to just march in and take your Phoenix and your Titan, right? They get their most value if the wave is already pushed up. But 3DOS is playing it a little bit smart, pushing the waves up as far as they'll go, and they have to defend either way. Mafia Vice is going to push with this Fire Giant, but now a little bit less time since they did take that time to go to Oni Fury, go back. We'll see how much value they're able to get out of this Fire Giant plus Oni Fury combo.
Yeah, I really like that play. That mitigating the loss of the Fire Giant as much as you possibly can by getting those waves pushed up as far as possible will come in handy for them here. Will reduce the amount of time the Fire Giant buff is on Mafia Vice while they're actively sieging towers. Like you said, there's still definitely a defense will have to be made here, but it will be easier because of that play coming out from them. I think they can recognize that the push is coming over here in left lane, kind of what you tend to expect this late into the game. So I expect and hope to see most of 3DOS back at this point and set up a defense. If not around this tower, probably around this Phoenix.
I think Mafia Vice has played it a little bit too slowly since now there are no more Oni minion waves, and by the time they aren't going for the Phoenix at all. I guess they're going to strip the towers, which makes sense. but that means that they're not getting the full value out of these Oni waves. A little bit of a disjointed play after the Fire Giant and Oni Fury went down. But make no mistake, Mafia Vice is still in an advantageous situation. It all comes down to these structured defenses, and 3DOS's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, very true. I'm not really sure. Oh, we do see the chin size picked up there as final item for our Awelish, so that will also help her in burning down these tanks. Yeah, I think that's why you get that. It's just because of how oppressive this Cthulhu has been up in your face all game. And you can see her around the back doing some split pushing here, maybe trying to take the Phoenix while 3DOS's backs are turned. I like it.
So I wonder if that's
not to get caught out by this dodgy though.
I wonder if that's the intention. Give the attack speed so you can burn down the. Oh,
already the egg is having to be burned. Palau coming out here looking for that grab, misses two, he misses the third, very unfortunate. Ult wasted there, and now Dummy Slick underneath the enemy tower, but the fight has broken out, and Moose is gone. Awelish getting what he was looking for. Not the Phoenix, but a kill he'll take. But now the transformation from Cthulhu trying to get everything and more that he was looking for. Does get the knockup. Dummy Slick not even going to try to escape. Knows it's over for him, just going to try and maybe get some damage set up for a kill in return for his death, as he knows that there's no way that he's
out.
He's kind of out. I mean, this Riptide combined with the Moonstrike from the
No, he's out.
They give up. Where? I guess they just decide not to chase. I thought for sure that Awelish should have been dead to rights. Even with the emoji there, should have been able to hit a stun Moonstrike to finish him off. But 3DOS just kind of gives up and lets him go.
They shouldn't have chased in the first place, in my opinion. They expended a lot of resources there to just push Dummy Slick back and not even get the kill. Unfortunate for 3DOS. And now Mafia Vice with a 10k lead. That's an even more commanding position as this Fire Giant is set to spawn relatively soon. I wonder if the chin size wasn't necessarily for the Cthulhu. There's I mean, it certainly helps with the Cthulhu, don't get me wrong. But there's a Galaxy Brain play here. Chin size gives a lot of attack speed, meaning that Awelish's ability to split push and take down structures on her own is now enhanced.
That is Galaxy Brain. I hadn't even considered that, but that could be a game plan here. It does get, caught out by the dodgy, gets a kill anyway, and manages to get away with it. So that plan going very well for Dummy Slick, but maybe something we see here as things continue. Ooh, Rivers Review going to lock in.
Nice one.
Oh no, Avery Wild getting grabbed and locked in. Manages to get away with the leap. Don't know if there's enough chase here in order to get it. Riptide going to grab some people forward. Blink is good, and the peel is there. She should be able to get out, but if 3DOS force a fight right now, they'll have to do it without Avery Wild, as she definitely doesn't want to be involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you see the power of the Cthulhu just walking through Mafia Vice.
They do want to force this team fight, throwing down all the damage they can look for. Look at how low all of Mafia Vice are. They need to go, and they need to go now. Dr. Boho going to be the first one to fall. Bacchus, it's kind of his job. He's the support. They're going even deeper, looking underneath this Phoenix for more. A couple players will make it out behind the Phoenix, but I don't think Peaceful Mind is going to be one of them. That's a dead Raijin as well. So 2 for nothing with Dummy Slick lurking in the background. They didn't see Awelish at all during that fight. I bet they're expecting him to do something crazy, but I don't know if they know exactly where he is. Nobody's looking at him. The blink is good. Lots of damage coming out early. Oh no, it's not all quite there. I don't know if an Aegis was popped. I couldn't tell with so many effects going on. Dummy Slick going to die, unfortunately, for his dive there. Does get Capsy, and the rest of his team collapses to get Brotherman as well. Lineant very low, but I think he should be able to make it out okay. So I don't know, maybe worth there. You do go down, but you get a couple kills for it if you're Dummy Slick. I think that brings the game a little bit back closer to even, probably keeps 3DOS from taking Fire Giant right now, so may have been worth.
Absolutely worth, in my opinion. Also seeing, the respect that they're giving to this Cthulhu, or Cthulhu 2, and rightly so, is really good coming out of Mafia Vice. Huge amounts of penetration, dropping Hydra's Lament for the dominance on the Awelish to just give even more penetration alongside this Rated Edge and the Bumba Spear, means that they are theoretically able to burn through the Cthulhu and the second Cthulhu. We'll see how it plays out as these fights go on. Again, that, as you pointed out, that wasn't really a 5v5. It was sort of like a 5v4, and then some players came back as we have ticked over to the Enhanced Fire Giant.
It is. We are entering super late game territory now, folks. This is the scary part of the game where a botched team fight means defeat. There's no Phoenix defenses at that point. You're just done. So both teams playing incredibly carefully. You can see nobody trying to split push, take something sneaky in another lane right now, looking for the Oni Fury or Primal Fury over on the left side there. They're just focused on what matters right now, and that is this EFG because of how incredibly powerful it is.
Absolutely, and Mafia Vice still has that 8,000 gold lead, and that is still significant at this point in the game. So the advantage does go to them somewhat, and we have seen a couple of objective steals this game. But if a fight breaks out 5v5 in these narrow corridors with two Cthulhus, I don't like their odds.
Yeah, it's scary territory here. I don't know necessarily what to advise for either team. There is a sizable gold lead still in the pocket of Mafia Vice, but everybody's almost done finishing their builds. That's about to not really matter too much anymore. And I think execution in this last team fight is going to matter a lot more than small item differences in gold and stuff like that. If somebody gets caught out, I think that will matter a lot more than anything else, especially if maybe Freedunk gets grabbed again. His ability to tank in a 1v4 has diminished as these late game hyper carries and Chiron and Awelish have kind of come online with their builds.
True, though I still think that if I was... So the first piece of advice to both teams is no one overextend. If anyone gets picked right now, that might just be the game on its own. The second piece of advice is 3DOS should try to get Mafia Vice into these narrow corridors and then just ult on top of them. Just put all the ults down in the same place where Mafia Vice is, just to be sure. Just to be clear, they should all be in the same place as Mafia Vice. You should hit the ults. And then you'll probably just win the team fight.
I agree. Area damage definitely a big source of power here for 3DOT, something they're going to want to take advantage of. I'd like to see also just a few more words around here. There's a decent chunk, but I feel like most of them are kind of centered around this middle jungle. And if the Awelish comes at you, we've seen her tendency to do that kind of from behind. So I'd love to see some wards just a little bit further back here for 3DOS so they can see the Awelish coming into them because it's probably going to happen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, definitely. 3DOS should definitely be wary of the defensive positioning of wards. So they do have there is a lot of ward coverage around the Fire Giant for both teams, which is impressive.
Very well done for both of them, yeah. So interesting. 3DOS does get that Pyromancer things. Little gold benefits do matter. And it looks like they're kind of calling Mafia Vice's bluff here just a little bit. They're like, all right, if you're not going to pull Fire Giant, we'll take your tier 2 tower, and you either come fight us or you pull Fire Giant. But either way, we get what we want.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
They get that, yeah.
Oh! They're just going for it!
Further, yeah. No Fire Giant required. Freedom going deep underneath the Phoenix, putting out tons of damage. Lots of people being forced back and forced to retreat just a little bit from Mafia Vice. Definitely 3DOS looking like the healthier ones for the time being, although Freedom starting to get chunked down quite a little bit, down to about 50% health now. The dash is good, but there's Dummy Slick as the Yoink beads are burned to get himself out. He's already used the dash, so Freedom goes down first. Very low health, though, is Avery Wild. He may be able to one next one to go down. Though Cap Z has transformed once again into Cthulhu and is trying to get kills onto the backline. Moose goes down first. Lineant looking extremely low, but they get Peaceful Mind on the other side. Maybe to fall next actually does make it out. Does the Nike Lineant actually going to be the one to go down? So it's a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Mafia Vice. That might be definitive enough of a team fight win to take games here. I'm not sure.
Well, Dummy Slick and Clizboy think so.
They are pushing down mid. The two remaining players for 3DOS are backing right now. There's 30 seconds left until Freedunk. Not taking Fire Giant is the right move. I think if you take Fire Giant, it takes too long. You definitely can't end here. This is the riskier play over taking Fire Giant and backing up, but if that's the one they want to make, then so be it. Cap Z going to get locked down by a couple players. He's in deep trouble. The dash goes the wrong direction, using the stealth to his advantage, but he's still extremely low. Using Zeus picks up the final kill. 4 alive here for Mafia Vice, and only 2 going to be alive for 3DOS, although Moose is back in 8 seconds. Fire Giant, Titan dying so fast, it's not going to matter though. Oh my goodness, Avery dead. Dummy Slick dead. Fire Giant going to burn. Oh, I called it Fire Giant once again. It's still called the Titan. But it doesn't matter because Mafia Vice pick up the kill. They made the aggressive play. I expected to see them take Fire Giant and go a little slower, but they went straight for the jugular and end the game, taking your first one over 3DOS in 38 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you think 3DOS has a little more discipline on with that Cthulhu and a little more better positioning and timing on the execution of the results, I think they can win that game. So, but if I was Mafia Vice, I think I'd just either ban away the Morgan or the Cthulhu next game and make them do something else because that is such a huge threat.
That was just it. It felt like every single fight, even the fights that went well for Mafia Vice, as soon as the Cthulhu ults plural were popped, they ended up just getting forced back. Most of the carries ended up getting forced back so far just by the zoning that it felt like the onus was on the frontliners to make things happen for Mafia Vice. And hey, credit to them, they did.
Yeah, the game was on a knife's edge and Mafia Vice took it. Good for them. I'm excited for game 2.
I am hyped for game 2 as well. We're going to throw this one back over to the desk. They'll break it down for us, but we'll see you for game 2 before too long. Take it away, Drummer and Nevea.
Thank you, Voiceless One and Akira, for bringing us game number 1 of the quarterfinals for the Challengers Division. 3DOS versus Mafia Vice, as we said at the very start, this is the 4th seeded team versus the 5th seeded team. Mafia Vice being the 5th seeded team. And it went the way of Mafia Vice. It was the Awilix, wasn't it? It was the Awilix. You called it.
I expected big things out of the Wheelix, and we got big things out of the Wheelix. Though I think an honorable mention needs to go with that Chad Bacchus player for taking their second item as Divine Ruin, which I thought was quite the move.
Yes, I agree.
Usually you see supports go with more full defense options, but taking the straight up just gonna go with that full damage pen anti-heal item. We're gonna double down the anti-heal for Bacchus. That was what a move.
Listen, supports need to have fun too, okay? So if there is anything that we saw during that game, is there something that either side should prioritize in the ban phase for game number 2?
Well, if I'm Mafia Vice, like as they were saying in the cast, I think if you want to lock this down and go for that 2 game, clean it up in 2, I would definitely throw a ban to Cthulhu and Morgan. At least, not necessarily that they may do that, try to do that again, but just take that option away for them. They don't have to do. They might not necessarily go the exact same 2, but Morgan or Cthulhu alone, I think, is worth a ban just because of how impactful they were, and especially Cthulhu and just how he kind of ran that game, where he would just charge right at the team, didn't care who was there. They were just making impact either way. So, yeah, I would look to throw a ban on one of them. And if you're 3DOS, I don't know. I think they had a really good plan going in. It just kind of started to fall apart pretty quick there.
Just reviewing the bans from game number 1, Mafia Vice, they kind of put their bans into the Geb, the Artio, which we talked about at the start of game 1, being pretty viable bans there. But then they also banned the Cupid. Do you think we might see a Cupid game number 2, or are we gonna try and ban that out, or what are your thoughts on the Cupid?
It's possible. I think definitely that a Cupid for 3DOS in that first game, like they seem to be going more with these large ultimates, zoning, team fighting, that type of thing. So perhaps they were maybe looking to go with a Cupid or another hunter like that. So we might see it. Could see another ban. I'm not sure. It depends on. I think it's probably all going to come down to seeing like what that first pick is, and then you can kind of adjust from there if you think you can get a read on them.
Well, it looks like Mafia Vice will be on the side for first pick, so we can move into picks and bans here and check out and see what they prioritize game number 1. Game number 2. Game number 1, Mafia Vice prioritized the Awilix. That was their first pick after ban phase. So yeah, I believe you're correct. I think 3DOS might want to answer back and say, nope, don't want that Awilix again.
Perhaps. Okay, and of course, the first band coming in is Cthulhu and Hell. Hell's an interesting one because we didn't see Hell at all in the first game, so it's an odd one. But I like the Cthulhu band. Have to get them just out of the way.
Definitely. Sorry, I'm moving my screen over to the other side here. I'm having a little difficulty seeing. Sorry, give me 1 second. It looks like the Tiamat being banned, as well as the Cerberus on side of Mafia Vice. And then we have the Camazotz ban again on the side of 3DOS. They banned Camazott's first ban last game. Did you want to talk a little bit more about why they might be thinking Camazotz should be a good ban here?
Again, I mean, I'm going to assume in that case that either it's a targeted ban that they know that Mafia Vice likes to play it, or perhaps it's a like player preference. Perhaps the 3DOS jungler just absolutely just doesn't want to face a Camazotz. Same thing with the Uller. We didn't see Uller banned last game, but again, a very strong character, especially with the recent item changes. So I'd imagine that's just something that they don't really want to deal with at all. But it looks like Mafia Vice will take the Geb this time, which is another very strong character, also with a knock-up. So
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the Awilix to show back up as 3DOS is hovering the Sylvanas and Hachiman. So another healer here on the side of 3DOS.
sure, also another character with a knock-up. So maybe we'll see a return of a Wheelix, though the knock-up doesn't really work too well for Sylvanas because it only knocks enemies. But either way, knockups all around. But so I guess they kept now the Hellband makes much more sense now because if you're going to go with a healer, you want to deny a healer for your opponents. Though it looks like the ban's changed. Okay, so it's just the big three being banned
Yeah.
now. We have Cardio and Odin. Really good
Yeah.
bans. There's nothing really to add about those. Those are pretty standard.
Yes. As the Chiron and Nike being locked in on the side of Mafia Vice. I keep wanting to say Miami Vice, you know?
Yeah. Uh, both made a really good show last game, so why not?
But yes, I'm enjoying seeing this Chiron and the Nike back in play as Raijin being locked in on side of 3DOS. Not the 5th pick this time, 3rd
Right.
pick. So that's good. An improvement here for the Raijin.
Going with Kamazot. Okay, now they are going to end up banning Kamazot.
There is the Camazots, man.
Same
I
as
was like,
before.
wait a minute,
Maybe
deja vu.
maybe a targeted ban on that. Same thing with the Hell.
Mm-hmm. The Daji being banned on the side of Mafia Vice as well as Fenrir with the top pack.
Okay, interesting one. Fenrir, yeah, both Fenrir and Daji similar in terms of like their ultimates. Fenrir can grab one person and bring them where he wants. Daji can grab multiple, but still sort of in a similar vein. Um, I can see why you would want to ban them because again, they're definitely could have been become an issue. But looks like
Cucullin.
hovering Kukulin.
Haven't really seen a lot of Cucullin recently.
Yeah, but hopefully they're gonna go with the lock, and hopefully we get a good show out of it because I really like Kakal, and I think he's a pretty fun warrior to play. So we'll hopefully versus Nike, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. As the Thoth and the Tsukiyomi being hovered on Mafia Vice. Thoth, there's a mage I haven't seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, that's quite the character. I mean, yeah, locking in Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi is great. But Thoth, that's an interesting one. A lot of positioning really important because you have to get that wall of runes or whatever it's called that you can fire your stuff through. So you're kind of locked in. Like if you throw that in, your enemy kind of knows where those attacks are coming from. You're probably going to shoot them from behind that wall. But a fun fact to note: both of those characters, Thoth and Raijin, because their abilities have like a multi-stage hit, you can re-aim between shots to help you track better instead of some other mages. Like this is something that came up yesterday in yesterday's cast. A lot of mages just have single line or single area abilities where you can't really adjust on the fly. Both Raijin and Thoth do have that ability too, so you don't really need to worry about slows or stuns. You can adjust as the character moves. Though a Gilgamesh one, another character we haven't seen in quite a while, at least I haven't.
Right. Sorry, I think I lost you on there. Still with
Nope. Clear.
Oh,
Yep.
all right. So I kind of trailed off at the end. You said you hadn't seen Gilgamesh in a little bit, and then I didn't hear what you said. That's good.
Oh yeah, no, haven't seen Gilgamesh in a bit. And he's a really interesting character. I think on release he was probably a little stronger just because people didn't really know what to do. But now that everyone kind of has his abilities down, I think he's more sort of like a mid to like upper mid tier character. But I don't know how. It's probably gonna be a jungle pick, and I'm not sure how his matchup against Tsukiyomi goes. But we'll have to see. I'm excited to see stuff out of Mafia Vice. I mean, a Wheelix game 1, a Thoth game 2. It should be a good show all around.
A lot of long range abilities here on the side of Mafia Vice, so I'm looking forward to all the snipes that we will see coming out of the side of Mafia Vice. But we don't have to wait too much longer. We're gonna send it on over to Voiceless One and Akira for game number 2, quarterfinals.
Thank you so much, Nevea and Drummer. You heard it from the lady herself. This is the voiceless one. I'm joined by Akira, and this is quarterfinals game number 2 between 3DOS and Mafia Vice. How you doing, Akira? You hyped and ready for game number 2?
Absolutely. I mean, last game, we made a little bit of jokes about the chaos of it, but I mean, it was a fun game, and hopefully it'll be just as lively this time.
It is going to be a blast to watch this one. We've heard what the desk thinks. I'm curious on your opinion on these two comps. What do you think about them? What do you like better?
I like Mafia Vice's comp better. I think Hachiman is okay, but his greatest strength is sort of running away, which is not ideal. Sylvanas is good. I don't think the Gilgamesh is going to be able to do that much, and also no CC immunity built in makes Gilgamesh a risky pick. I think Colin is not that great either. I mean, just in terms of pure comps, I think Mafia Vice have it.
I'm generally with you. I'm definitely not on board the Hachiman train. I never have been. But I think Chiron can outplay him in duo. I mean, obviously execution based, but yeah, I mean, you can see a big chunk of damage coming out there, only at level 2, but it's still just chunks through you. Knock up good. Oh, are we seeing our first kill already here? Getting very aggressive. Doesn't look like Chiron quite in position in order to get anything off onto Lineage, so he will make it away okay. Yeah, just a lot of really scary burst damage in the Chiron, the Thoth, the Tsukiyomi. All of them can kind of just ruin your day if you are just a little bit out of position and they catch you in the wrong spot. So that's really scary. It'll require really nice positioning from 3DOS in order to counterplay that.
Not to mention Mafia Vice actually having 2 cleanses on the map right now, in the Geb and the Chiron, which means locking them down with the CC that 3DOS has, which is not that much, will be even more difficult.
Very true. Yeah, something I hadn't considered was those cleanses. Ooh, we see our very first gank of the game here. Dr. Boho looking very out of position, does have that roll. The boulder going to get blasted out of it, and that is a very dead Geb. Support kill first for 3DOS as they pick up first blood. Although a couple players for Mafia Vice are in the area, maybe looking to punish. Dummy Slick is here, and we see Thoth around that Fury Pit, maybe looking to punish just a little bit. Lineage going to make it back underneath his tower, safe. Dodges the yoink back in from the Sylvanas, so Dummy Slick going to make it out okay. It looks like Thoth didn't pick up his kill either, so 3DOS will get away with their murder for the time being.
Good rotation out of Moose there, and that's the power of rotating first. If you get there first, you can get a kill and disengage before the other team has a chance to respond. Oh, but a red buff invade.
Uh-oh, I don't think Harry Moose expected them to get this quite aggressive around this red buff quite so early. They even get the steal and a kill to boot. So Mafia Vice take what they were looking for and then some, bringing us right back into even with a camp steal and a kill to go with it. Narrowly avoiding Avery over in solo, though. That is it's a little unfortunate. She will make it out with her life, though.
Yeah, I mean, Mafia Vice did play an aggressive style early last game as well, except this time I think the scaling into the late game is a little bit more even. This could be problematic for 3DOS. I like the Tsukiyomi pickup as well, coming in with the disarm as well as the stun follow-up. Basically can dive the backline for free alongside the Nike.
Do you like it better than the Gilgamesh?
Much better than much better than Gilgamesh. I don't think Gilgamesh is particularly good. I don't think he's terrible, but I think he's just okay. Whereas Tsukiyomi takes better advantage of those assassin items, as well as having built-in CC immunity, more or less unpeelable dive, unless you have an Aegis up. Yeah, Gilgamesh just doesn't bring the same power to the table.
So what makes you I guess why was he so dominant in the FPL for so long if he just isn't so viable? What makes him so good there?
I mean, keep in mind that when Gilgamesh was viable, we were looking at a completely different balance point in the meta in terms of items, right?
That's true.
I mean, the assassin item buff came later. Gilgamesh, I mean, it's not like Gilgamesh is, like, again, it's not like he's totally worthless, but one of Gilgamesh's powers is, sort of like hybrid building and the ability to go into auto attack and ability based, sort of like Nemesis. But when the items are skewed so heavily in favor of, Crusher, Jotuns, that and the Mace Tree and that sort of thing, I think you're just better off going for a pure ability based character. And again, like, Piercing Moonlight just brings so much to the table in terms of dive capability, and there's just so much CC on everything that Tsukiyomi does, and Gilgamesh just doesn't bring the same level of CC or CC immunity.
Okay, for you strangely satisfying fans out there. Oh no! I was gonna point it out and then it went away. Every single person on Mafia Vice had their buff, but Killjoy just lost his, and it was so nice. They just line down there of all those buffs next to them. It was just it's crispy, but it's gone now. I'm sad. That's okay. We've got a fight breaking out in mid. Lots of damage being put on to Peaceful Mind. He's a little bit caught out, as you know. Sometimes Thoth can be a little bit stagnant. Sometimes difficult to get Peel away from. Ooh, the back coming out just in time. Almost didn't get away with that. And Thoth will make it out underneath the tower as well. Dummy Slick came in here to rotate, probably looking to peel, but now he's the one stuck in here. Got lots of damage being poured onto him, and yeah, late to the rotation, late to the party, you're just going to find yourself dead. So Dummy Slick coming in too late to help there and just loses his life.
But there's a little bit of a foreshadowing, I think, of things to come there. If you notice, Peaceful Mind beat very early there. He was and still had to go through the Gilgamesh winds of Shamash. But Dr. Boho was there with the Geb shield to cleanse out the slow. So, I mean, even what little CC 3DOS has, when they apply it, it may be getting cleansed out a little earlier than they wanted to. Dummy Slick with a little bit of an overextension there, but that's unrelated to the first point. But good on 3DOS to collapse and take him down.
Yeah, also, I like your point. You know, just that cleanse already coming in handy. Potentially something we're going to see quite a bit more of as we go on, as there are plenty of potential areas for CC. None of them are the strongest to chain into each other for 3DOS, but there are plenty of ways that they can use CC to their advantage, and those can all be cleansed pretty easily using the double cleanse available to Mafia Vice.
And one of those cleanses, the Chiron, is technically an area cleanse as well. So if people are grouped up, they can all get cleansed at once. But 3DOS is, you know, taking a little bit more objective control, taking down both Gorp and Forp, and they have established a lead for themselves. So it's not all doom and gloom for them by any means. 3DOS definitely can win this game, and it's definitely not out of their hands by any means. In fact, they're in the lead. But it is going to take some coordination and execution as we see another red buff invade.
Lots of damage. The teleport just barely enough to get Capsy out there. The dash comes through, the dive from Dummy Slick, looking to find it, but no! So many fears driving him away, not able to get what he was looking for. Fortunately, Peaceful Mind will pick it up for him. Now lots of damage being put onto Linian. He should be the next to fall. Actually, Peaceful Mind goes first. Dummy Slick's still there to get what he was looking for. He will lose his life in exchange, though. Hoots dies elsewhere. Was that tick damage that got him, or was it
No, it was the masterful shot.
Oh, the snipe from Chiron, getting what he was looking for. Yoink, no good for Brother Man. That will mean an end to the fight right here, but that evens us up in terms of kills. Gold still favoring 3DOS a little bit, but I tend to think that goes well for Mafia Vice there.
Definitely, and I mean that masterful shot, the auto aim from Chiron, so powerful. I mean, you think you're out, but you know, it's a little bit of boop, and you're dead. Not a terrible team fight from either team. A little bit split up and a little bit stagnated, but like good use of the ults. The Raijin ult from Cap Z keeping Dummy Slick out of, you know, keeping him at bay a little bit. It so happened that Peaceful Mind was there to follow up, which was another good play. But I think well played by both teams.
Yeah, definitely agree. And you can see the XP difference in terms of everybody pretty even across the board. The one player kind of leading is the majority of the big lead right now is on Free Dunk, just because I think how powerful he's able to be over in that solo lane. Actually, hang on, stun coming out here on Peaceful Mind, gonna get knocked into the wall. Lots of damage being put down, and Moose will just get it. Almost a solo kill all on his own. He has backup, but he didn't even really need it.
Interesting. Did Peaceful Mind dash earlier? Oh, what?
Dummy Slick on the other side though. That's where their aggression and their prioritization was. That's why there's no jungler to help out there in mid. That's because he's in solo, picking up a kill of his own. But because there are two players now seen on solo side, means Mafia Vice feels safe picking up this gold here because they know there's not a lot of presence here.
Oh, Centaurus.
Uh-oh. Not quite going to get what he was looking for. 3DOS are going to be okay. Masterful shot not going to get any kills off either. So 3DOS will get that, as they did see Mafia Vice show face on the other side of the map. They're like, we'll take that then. If you're nowhere nearby, we'll have this gold here.
But Mafia Vice taking down the red buff again. I mean, again, well played from both sides. Mafia Vice sees that 3DOS is grouped up around Gold Fury, so Dummy Slick goes in for the gank because he knows there's no backup coming. They see the gank, and they know that there's no backup coming for the Gold Fury, and they go ahead and pull that and take it. It's again like these teams are so evenly matched. I feel like this makes for good Smite.
Makes for excellent smite. You got the double Uno reverse card coming out right there. Both teams going, no, I have the advantage. So for the moment, what you doing there, Free Dunk? He's just
going for the proxy.
Take the tower, and he's just gonna take the wave in between the two towers there. Interesting. Probably just looking to do that so he can get a faster rotation over to mid. Maybe looking to punish. You can see, elsewhere in mid lane, Peaceful Mind goes down to a dive underneath the tower. Dr. Boho trying to stop this steal here, not going to get it, and now he is, that means Free Dunk can cast away, looking for all the damage he'd like. Not enough to confirm the kill, especially with backup here. And actually, Moose dying off screen. Holy cow, there's fighting everywhere. 2 kills going over in mid lane, 1 on either side as we get 6-6 on the kill feed. 3DOS now looking to get aggressive. Sylvanas maybe trying to get a knock-up in combination with, with the explosion from the Chiron, to get something onto Dummy Slick. He does get it, and that will make sure that Free Dunk and Brotherman can get some kills before they are forced to disembark, and they separate. About 1,000 gold still between these two teams, but that will matter less and less as game goes on. Still looking incredibly even from both sides here.
I mean, Mafia Vice with these buff invades, and usually, they very rarely fall for nothing, right? They do lose Dummy Slick in mid, but they get Moose and Cap Z in return. And Cap Z was right at the end when it seemed like there was nothing more coming out. So it looks like
Sentinel of Zeus. There is one dash. I think that's
Is that enough? Yeah, I think that's enough. But yeah, no, I think Mafia Vice is playing this very well, and as is 3DOS. I think the interesting thing that we'll see, though, as we do move into objective and late game, is the anti-heal. They do have a Sylvanas coming out for 3DOS, so an upgraded Cursed is a very powerful tool against that, since Sylvanas can't control who he heals. So, that debuff will go on everyone. And I have to admit it, I doubted the Gilgamesh, but Moose is making it look really good.
Absolutely, 5-2 and 1 coming out very strong here. In fact, honestly, both pretty much across the board, both sides kind of in an even matchup as far as their respective positions are, with the one exception being Chiron taking that lead over the Hachiman like we kind of predicted he would, just based on his laning strength. Everybody else kind of just neck and neck with their counterpart as far as across the aisle, the teams. Dr. Boho caught out, gets a stun, but he is Geb. Shield, knock up, stun is there to give himself some peel, and the boulder will make sure that he gets away. Peaceful Mind there to provide some damage, but they still go underneath the tower. Dummy Slick dies off screen. Avery trying to get something off on a Free Dunk. There's just a sliver of health left. He will get it. Was that
Mystical Mail.
Was that Mystical Mail? I was
pretty sure.
Mystical Mail kill right there. Peaceful Mind gonna die in mid to the winds of Shamash right there. And now underneath the tower, Dr. Boho trying his best to provide some peel and let the tower do some damage. Moose there to get what he's looking for. Dr. Boho gonna fall. Avery's there to get counter kills. That's up there. Oh my goodness! Triple kill for Avery, making 3DOS hurt for what they did, going so deep in mid lane.
Oh
Maybe
no!
Get one more onto Linian. Does he have the one? He does. That's a quadra for Avery and a deicide for Mafia Vice.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for 3DOS, because up until Avery appeared in mid, that was huge for them. I mean, they took on Dummy Slick first. They were winning the fight in mid, but Avery coming back and still having the Sentinel of Zeus up, that was a death sentence. But I mean, now the game's even again.
Once again, right back to even. That's okay. That's how we like it. Close smite is good smite. Going to see a few players from Mafia Vice back up, spend their hard-earned gold here as we enter mid-game territory. Still haven't seen, we've seen one, I guess we have seen one Fury fall. That was 3DOS earlier in the game. Be surprised if we see another one coming up here soon. Gold difference, negligible. XP difference, quite heavily in favor of Mafia Vice. So if they want to take advantage, now is the time to do so before everyone hits 20 and that XP stops meaning anything.
It does look like Mafia Vice is starting to build into those anti-heal items. It looks like a Divine Ruin coming out for Peaceful Mind. Dummy Slick going into Brawler's Beatstick, or what should be Brawler's Beatstick. So the Sylvanas healing may be a little less effective shortly.
I love this positioning from Mafia Vice. Look at that. They pull Gold Fury, expecting 3DOS to rotate through mid lane to try and stop them, and they already have players waiting there for a gank to catch anybody out who moves in too fast on their own. Avery Wild going to go deep right now, looking for something against Moose. Moose dropping incredibly low. Winds of Shamash going to be used as a peel tool just to get himself out. Avery with the Sentinel of Zeus, still plenty healthy. Does need to use that leap before he gets himself in trouble. Peaceful Mind off screen, taking down Free Dunk. Dummy Slick going deep with the use of that ultimate. May get one on Delineant, and he does. Moose nearby, maybe considering going after Dummy Slick. That's a lazy back. Be careful there. Killjoy does go down to Moose. Dummy Slick in the area, thanks to the lazy back, is going to go down, but Peaceful Mind will secure the kill onto Moose. It's a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Mafia Vice. Their plan mostly worked, although a couple low members sticking around too long in the mid jungle will get themselves punished by that invade from Moose.
I was wondering where Mafia Vice was. Avery seemed to be going 1v3, 1v4, and it turns out they were all going 4v1 against Free Dunk. These solo laners are doing so much at this point in the game. Avery, playing the same fearless style that Free Dunk was able to last time. Remember last game, Free Dunk would just walk into the whole team and not care, and it looks like both solo laners are doing that this game.
Yeah, I really like the setup there for Mafia Vice. I'm going to fangirl just a little bit more over that setup. I love the way that a couple stronger. I think they had a tank and a carry started pulling the Fury, and 3 members were kind of hidden in the jungle a little bit near mid, waiting for anybody to rotate too aggressively on their own, so they can just pick up a free kill that right there. I love that. It's chef's kiss.
Just right. Unfortunately, caught a little bit flat-footed when Moose rotated back in. Again, making this Gilgamesh look way better than I think it has any right to look. But Avery, 5-0-1 on the Nike, and it looks like Free Dunk is in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, especially with the lead that Avery has managed to build up on that 92 here, and you're at a level disadvantage. Free Dunk shouldn't be too long for this world. Wins the Shamash as a zoning tool. Dummy Slick going to get jumped on. He'll actually die first. Moose arrives just in time to save his solo laner. Avery now pouring damage onto Moose, trying to find a counter kill. May be able to escape. There's plenty of backup here for Mafia Vice, and all of a sudden, Avery is only here with a Geb cleanse there, shield there if he needs it, though looks like both teams probably going to disengage. All the while, Chiron in duo lane, solo pushing the left side tower, probably going to get that, although there is a Cocola nearby, maybe going to try and force him away. He should be all right. I don't imagine we'll see a kill just yet. He does have plenty of mobility as that Chiron. So yeah, everyone disengages. No more kills on either side. But, I like the play from Killjoy. Get as much as you can. You know you're probably not going to make it over. Oh, no. I stand corrected. Lineant incredibly low. The damage is there from Peaceful Mind. He pours on more. Avery looking a little bit low, but there's not much damage in the form of the Sylvanas, and the Raijin has to back up underneath his own tower, so Avery should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, part of the power of these two teams is how willing and able they are to take fights on both sides of the map at the same time. Wow.
Gets another kill underneath the tower. Avery pops the Sentinel of Zeus just to be safe. Had that the whole time, wasn't even worried about it.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, Killfest again. There's never a fight in just one spot. There's a big skirmish in solos, there's a 2v1 in duo, and then there's a fight around Gold Fury, but then, someone overstays it. This is what we like to see. Oh, misses everything.
Ult there. Moose trying to get away, does manage to do so as Dummy Slick not able to connect with the ult, so no dash available there. Does mean he'll get away with an ult forced out virtually for free. But Mafia Vice with the superior positioning, knowing Freedos are very spread out thanks to good map vision, are going to pull this Fury right here and should get it without too much fight. The only one in the area is Lineant, and he is in no position to try and contest this. He's a lone hunter. So yeah,
interesting. The Observer just highlighted Peaceful Mind's build here. Thoth using Book of himself, which is always an interesting choice, but also not finishing items. Was that maybe a misclick on the Lost Artifact or whatever that T1 is at the beginning? Because that's not finished. The Divine Ruin's not finished. Opting instead to finish off the Soul Gem. Now the Divine Ruin's finished, but that's an interesting build philosophy coming out of Peaceful Mind there.
That is very strange. Maybe you start the Divine Ruin and then frantically find yourself that you really need lifesteal, so you just abandon it and immediately put money into lifesteal, and you just I'll come back and get that later. I don't know.
I guess
it's just not something we really see in Smite. Not finishing items is kind of a no-no.
Yeah, generally speaking, though. Oh, Killjoy, interesting. Going for what would probably be a Wind Demon there, and alongside the Dominance, that'll be what 35% pen on crits for the auto attacks, plus the flat pen coming out of Crusher and Jotuns. Killjoy is going to be doing a lot of damage in these team fights.
He's looking real scary, especially with the sizable lead he has over not just his counterpart in the duo lane, but most of the members of 3DOS as well. I mean, he gets a good couple casts off onto
Ooh.
right. Oh no! Peaceful Mind going to go down in mid lane, but we see CapZ exchange, so both mid laners going down in the middle here. Fight still continuing as Brotherman going to have damage put on him from Dummy Slick, who's a little bit far forward. Two characters here for Mafia Vice. Dummy Slick starting to look a little bit unhealthy. Linian can pour down damage using those basic attacks. Dummy Slick using the Caltrops, trying to get away. Masterful Shot going to slow them just a little bit. I think Dummy Slick is forfeit here. He's going to go down. The question is just, can Mafia Vice get anything in exchange? They do get Linian, and the dash comes through. Yeah, Dummy Slick finally does fall, but now Avery's here. Can start to bully Moose a little bit. They're not concerned about this tower. They have tankiness for days. Good jukes coming out there. Lots of damage coming through from the Chiron ult, and they may be able to get Brotherman as well. Moose falls first. Brotherman looking a little unhealthy. They'll let him go and take the tier 1 tower, or excuse me, tier 2 tower as well. So decent exchange as when all is said and done there. I think a 3-for-2 trade favoring Mafia Vice.
Yeah, and Mafia Vice now with 9,000 gold, 9,000 experience, and it looks about 4,000 gold in the lead. They are in a strong position here. Interesting to, so I mean, they do have the Sundering coming out. Wait, hold on. Nike's on Mafia Vice's team. Gab has a Sunder. What? Geb should have first donk, right? No? Okay.
They really want to sunder the Cucullin and the Sylvanas, I guess.
I guess. I mean, the Cucullin does have Pridwin and Bulwark, so, like, not, you know, it's not like the Sunder isn't getting any value, but it is an interesting pickup. You probably would expect the Curse Donk, but, you know, I mean, I can't argue with them. They're getting results. Wind Demon now indeed finished for Killjoy. As well as, I mean, they've got a mantle for Avery. That Nike is going to be very hard to kill with the backup from a Geb and a Chiron.
Absolutely. Sentinel of Zeus available in your back pocket whenever you need it. Going to make it so hard to get anything done. She can just pop that ultimate or leap away whenever she feels like it. So, yeah, you can see we've reached 20 minutes. Ooh, Freedom getting caught out just a little bit here. Not quite going to get what he was looking for. Drop kick not anywhere nearby to get any sort of stun. Moose had backed off for the time being, so Avery Wild going as deep as he would like to. Free dunk using that transformation into the raging form. Not quite going to get what he's looking for. Avery looking a little deep, but there you can see pops the ult the second he feels like he needs it. Going to be just fine, including the shields. Whoa, dashed all over the place. Using the ultimate, I think, from the Tsukiyomi. Peaceful Mind is the first to drop, but CapZ is so incredibly low. Dummy Slick chasing underneath the Phoenix. Past the tower, gets what he was looking for. Finally, the counter kill. Now he's just got to get out safely. Another one maybe dying soon. Actually, all over the place. There's so many low health members all over the place. Perfectly timed ult from Killjoy will get Moose and keep himself alive. That is a clutch ultimate coming from Killjoy. Linian going to barely escape with his life. Dummy Slick now fighting Free Dunk in the jungle. He's got a little bit of backup here. I don't know if Free Dunk can 1v2 this. He's looking like he might be able to. Geb's shield is good. Dummy Slick falls first. Free Dunk, he's got to have like 10 health. The knockup picks it up. Free Dunk falls, and it's just Brotherman left in the area trying to punish Dr. Boho and Killjoy, but they are going to be allowed to back as an incredible exchange of kills across the board there. I have no idea who comes out ahead in that exchange. I just know it was fun to watch.
I think Liniant comes out ahead. If anyone, Liniant survives and I believe gets the kill with the bounty onto Avery. 6 kill streak. Now Avery is at level 18, and I do think Freedunk actually wins that 1v2. It was the 1v3 that was a little too much. Dr. Boho coming in with the shield was enough to finish off Freedunk there. The lead has been cut a little bit, I think. Right? It was, what, 4,000 before? Now it's more like 3,200. So not even by any means, but certainly trending more in that direction.
Yeah, it's been quite the barn burner. I've really enjoyed this game. Yeah, gold heading towards even, experience not mattering so much as everyone hits 20. Gold Fury going to be pulled once again. Still haven't seen much interest at all in the Fire Giant. We've seen some fights take place over there, but I don't think anyone's even touched the Fire Giant himself.
Yeah, it seems like whenever the two teams get near Fire Giant, they just fight each other instead. Which, you know, it happens. Oh, but Brotherman caught out here.
Yeah, he is way too far forward. I don't know if he didn't expect anyone to be there or not, but going to lose about a quarter of his health bar. He's Sylvanas, so he'll be okay. Can heal back up, got the sustain. But if there are more players nearby for Mafia Vice, that's definitely a kill.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an overextension there could turn into a fire giant for the other team. But Brother Man does make it out, so no harm, no foul. Is that... I mean, Serrated Edge plus the Bumba Spear gives 30% pen to the Tsukuyomi. Is that going to be a Bloodforge coming out for Dummy Slick's last item?
I hope so. That would be so cool. It's either that or the Devourer's Gauntlet or what's the
Can't
other
be
one in
Dev
that tree?
Gauntlet. Soul Eater?
Yeah. So it has to be one of those
I-
three.
It can't be Soul Eater, right? Or no, I don't think it's Soul Eater. It's got to be Bloodforge. Interesting to see. Dummy Slick has not been getting that many kills, so maybe he thinks he can get more as the game goes late. As Mafia Vice do pull the Fire Giant.
Maybe just feeling like he has lost a few 1v1s. Maybe just feeling like extra lifesteal would benefit him there. Actually, hang on. Windsor Shimash comes out. Fire Giant going to be left by the wayside for now. A couple players on either side going against the back line of the enemy team. One going to drop on either side. Make that 2 for both sides. Free Dunk now extremely beat up, having to run away. Dummy Slick still looking incredibly healthy. Maybe thanks to a little bit of that lifesteal he has online. The knockup is good. Gonna keep Peaceful Mind alive. The clutch play from the support Geb coming out there. Going to make sure that the Peaceful Mind on the Thoth does make it out. And it's a 4-for-2 trade as Free Dunk is the only member of 3DOS able to walk away with his life there.
I know Smite doesn't have that much RNG in it, but it just feels so unlucky when it's like, one ability here, shield there, and, Peaceful Mind gets out instead of dying. Brutal. Avery, I think, has been playing the way Freedunk was playing last game and has been getting a lot of success out of it. But I think we have reached a point where the Nike can't just walk wherever she wants and do whatever she wants. I think Avery might have to start respecting some damage.
I definitely agree. I think the time has come for Avery to play a little bit more with the team. Can't just 4v1 quite so much anymore. Curious to me a little bit that Mafia Vice take that tower in mid instead of taking the giant. I feel like there was an opportunity there that they've missed now. I mean, a couple of them were a little low health, but I didn't feel like it was so drastic that you couldn't take FG if you wanted it.
True, but I mean, both these games have been, even when there is as there is right now, about a 7,000 gold lead, these games feel like such knife edges, and hard to justify, any sort of coin flip at all, no matter how weighted it is in your favor, when we have seen so many objectives stolen away this set.
That's true. We have seen plenty of objectives get yoinked out from underneath each other.
It is the Bloodforge.
It is the Bloodforge. Your prediction is correct. I like it. I think the mindset, and I don't play jungle, so take this with the biggest grain of salt in the world. I think the mindset coming from the Tsukuyomi is that he's lost a few 1v1s in the past, and having that lifesteal makes him much harder to duel, and he wants to be able to take 1v1s when he can find them. So I think that's what that goes for, as you see Mafia Vice pick up the FG there.
Well, so the other thing about Bloodforge is that now Tsukuyomi, Dummy Slick did get a bunch of kills in that last fight, so maybe he correctly predicted that he was going to start getting kills, and now we'll see that Bloodforge get a lot of value.
Potential to be there for sure. Fire Giant buff now. Oh, excuse me.
On all 5.
On all 5 members of Mafia Vice. And that means they're going to be looking to siege down Phoenixes at this point. There is one tier 2 tower remaining. It's on a sliver of health. Not even worth really taking, because you can have one person roll over there and poke that down whenever they feel like it. So I expect to see, looks like a back and spend for Mafia Vice, and then I expect to see group up in a Phoenix Siege at this point.
Spectral armor out for Free Dunk, not for Brother Man, at least not yet. But Killjoy has completed both Wind Demon and Deathbringer, so that Chiron is going to be swinging in these team fights.
I also see Relic Dagger for Geb. Interesting.
It's hard to see Sunders in these fights. But Geb blinking more often is never really a bad thing. Plus the movement speed, plus the CDR, more Geb blink ults is a powerful tool in team fights. So
I guess I can understand that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I predicted that was a cinch. Power down that tower, and now
all 3 Phoenix exposed now.
Absolutely. So want to take this left side Phoenix as you can. Oh no. Moose getting caught out. The stun is good on the drop kick, but Avery gonna be able to find some follow-up damage. Actually just gonna let it go.
I think it's zoning.
Yeah. Which they're okay with, I think. But yeah, if you want a Phoenix, it's gonna be this left side Phoenix. So that's where the fight is. Because you'd like to take this one if you can have your way about it. maybe rotates across, takes others if they can get this one. But for the moment, it's just a careful dance around this Phoenix siege. Dr. Boho steps forward, starts tanking the Phoenix, starting to take a little bit of damage. Phoenix dropping to about 25% of its health missing now. Avery in the back line, about 50% health, getting chunked down. Moose barely going to miss out on the kill. But it wasn't the kill. It wasn't the kill from the Chiron ult that finished him off, so he doesn't get the revive. Chiron does fall in exchange, but Cap Z falls as well. 2-for-1 trade so far. Dummy Slick getting yanked back in, has tons of shields still. Lots of players on 3 dots starting to look a little unhealthy. The snipe! The burst damage from Peaceful Mind will find it. Brother Man goes down, and this should be it. 4 still remaining for Mafia Vice. You have to back up a little. It's not often you see them fight on the wrong side of the Phoenix and have to back up to take it before they can kill Titan. But that's okay. They'll take care of that quickly. And with 25 seconds until anybody's alive here for 3 dots, this should be a 2-0 going over to Mafia Vice any second now.
Those Geb shields just so powerful, turning the tide of these fights, and so well timed out of Dr. Boho. So I mean, credit to the support player for Mafia Vice, as they do. I mean, it's got to be right.
They're playing with their food a little bit. They wanted to get free dunk first, but
fair enough.
They'll finally take us to a 2-0. Very well played, Mafia Vice, getting their revenge after their loss to 3 dots earlier in the season. But I mean, honestly, well played to both teams. This set was so close.
I mean, simple fact of the matter is, 1 or 2 abilities go a different way. A simple mistiming on a Geb shield or a Geb ult, or a Thoth ult doesn't land where you want it. And this game, both games go the other way. So well played to both teams.
So much respect. Everybody playing their hearts out there. That does confirm that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Pardon my ignorance. Which seed was Mafia Vice? Were they 4 or 5? Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay, production says they
that's
were
5
5,
and
I think.
yeah, and that means that 3 dots were 3. That's that correct? So they do 4. Excuse me. So they do a little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, so they do get what they're looking for. They will advance. Very well played to them. We had a blast watching this one. But we're going to throw this one back over to the desk. They're the ones who break this stuff down. They say intelligent things about it. We just kind of shout at the camera. We had a great time doing it, though. Take it away, Drummer and Nevea. We're signing off, Akira and Voiceless.
Thank you, Voiceless and Akira, so much for bringing all the action to us for that set. Wow, 2-0 on the side of Mafia Vice. It was the Awillix from the first game.
The Awillix from the first game. Just the specter of Awillix haunting them the whole time. It was also, I mean, talking about jungles, we saw another really great performance out of the Tsukiyomi, the jungle in that. Chiron coming back, hitting just as hard as he did in the first game. A little bit of a different build, but didn't have to worry about Cthulhu this time. And this time a little bit of reverse. We saw the solo laner from Miami Vice do the whole run at the entire enemy team and just completely zone them out. So still, I guess goes to show you those solo laners are so strong currently.
And at the beginning of game number 2, we're just looking at the draft from Mafia Vice, all the range, as I said, all the sniping potential that they had. And there were so many fights that, Thoth got a snipe, or Tsukiyomi got a snipe, or Chiron got a snipe. Somebody was sniping.
Yeah, it was pretty constant, but you're right, they did have a lot of characters. Like, you have Chiron with his automatic hit ability, his ultimate, very far range. Thoth, very far range ultimate as well. And the one benefit I think Thoth ult has over, say, like Raigen's ult is, in order to get the full damage out of Raigen's ult, you have to get multiple hits on it, whereas Thoth just has to hit you once, and it's that huge burst damage that's kind of hard to deal with, something maybe you're not ready for, as we saw at the end there. I think he used to secure objective, and then even got that one final snipe at the end.
Just what a good set out of both teams. That was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of interesting and exciting picks that we haven't seen, at least very much, if at all, this entire season. So just great games to both teams. But congratulations to Mafia Vice. You will be moving on to the semifinals, which we will be bringing to you starting this upcoming weekend. I've been Nevea03. Drummer, thank you so much for being here.
You got it. Thank you.
And Voiceless and Kira, thank you so much for bringing all the action. And thanks to Batu for being our wonderful spectator. Much appreciated. And I hope you guys have a great